What is going on, my lovely FreeMelons? Thank you so much for joining me here once again. My name is Martyr. Welcome to the FreeMelon Society, where we give you the true, no-nonsense approach to 100% health, wellness, and vitality without all the rest of the fluff that the conventional health community might add into the picture. We give you the truth without any BS in its simple form. So simple that most people refuse to believe it. Okay, so today on the schedule we've got nuts. I get asked all the time about nuts. You know, where do nuts fit into the picture? Should we be eating them? Why are we told we need them? You know, how healthy are they? All this stuff. Now, in previous videos, you've heard me say when I'm describing what a natural diet is. Usually I'll say something to the effect of a high fruit diet. Okay, so the human body, again, just to reiterate, you are of a frugivorous design. You are a fruit-eating biological creature. Fruit is the type of food that is most suitable to your human biology. Okay, now in addition to fruits, an acceptable form of nutriment, okay, vegetables and nuts. These are also foods that you can palate, that you can eat in their raw form without any other extraneous type of processing or intricate mixing or cooking of any sort. So you can eat these. So these are the three foods that you can eat naturally with your biological equipment. Everything else is a lie. Okay? So most of what you eat coming from fruits, and then if desired, I usually always add that, if desired, vegetables and nuts and seeds. Now, nuts and seeds, they happen to be a very, very dense collection of fats and proteins. Primarily fat, though. Very, very dense. And actually difficult for your body to digest. But in the vegan community, nuts make up a significant portion. Well, I don't know how significant. I can't generalize for every vegan out there, obviously. But definitely what is promoted, you know, amongst the vegan community in the health, in the health sphere in general, is a portion of the diet coming from nuts, where you have the conventional almond butters and other nut butters and spreads and sauces that all involve using nuts, you know, especially in order to mimic some other conventional food. You know, we think of nuts and just ways to contrive of different flavors and whatnot to add into the meal. Now, along with being of a frugivorous design, your body is designed as a monotroph. You are a monotrophic being, meaning that you are ideally suited to be eating one particular thing at a time. You get the best digestion, the best absorption, and the best health effects from eating a meal that is just one particular item at one particular time. That is what your body best deals with, okay? So now, when we have in, again, the vegan community, or in the health community in general, not necessarily just vegans, everybody, we're using nuts. We're not eating them just on their own, but we're using them combined with other foods, and we're using them in their pulverized and processed form, and then adding them to other meals that include starches and other concentrated foods on their own. So now you're adding this level of complexity that is, again, quite the labor for your human body to deal with. So what I wanted to do today was I wanted to just give you a comparison. I stumbled as I was browsing the internet. I just out of curiosity stumbled upon this little comparison that I could make, and I thought it would be fun to share it with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on the internet, and we are going to show you this little fun thing that I stumbled upon. So what we're going to do for this comparison is we are going to head to the Chipotle website. This is the Chipotle Mexican Grill, It's a restaurant that, and I chose them, I mean, kind of randomly, but also because I stumbled across an article a while ago about restaurants that had decided to eliminate all preservatives from their menu and from all the foods that they use, or from the foods that they prepare on their menu. And Chipotle was amongst one of the restaurants listed in that article, and I remembered it, and so I was like, okay, I'll use Chipotle. And they also have, and now don't get the wrong idea, there's still lots of preservatives in their food. It's just, you know, the conventional artificial preservatives they've eliminated from their menu. So on their website, what they've got is they've got this pretty handy nutrition calculator where you can calculate the nutrition and the macronutrient spread of whatever meal it is you want to order. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're going to choose the burrito. Okay. And below here, this is where we fill out what we want in the burrito. So we've got the flour tortilla, of course. We're going to go to fillings, what fillings we want. We're ignoring all of the meat fillings, obviously. We are interested in actual health, so we don't want to be eating dead carcasses. So we pick the veggie filling, obviously. Okay, which includes guacamole. Then we are going to rice and beans, black beans. We're going to select black beans. And then we're going to top it off. Fajita vegetables, fresh tomato salsa, yes. We're going to deselect guacamole. We don't want extra guacamole. The veggie filling includes guacamole already. Because, as you know, avocados are almost 100% fat. They're just pure fat, very concentrated, just like nuts and seeds. What else do we don't want cheese. No, we don't want queso. No, it's just cheese. Chili corn, salsa, GMO corn. No, we don't want that. We definitely don't want sour cream. We'll select, green chili salsa. We only want one type of salsa. And of course, we definitely want romaine lettuce. Okay, so if we take a look here on the right, you see that we've got a total fat of 10.5 grams in our veggie burrito. We've also got 515 calories. For the sake of this, we're going to ignore calories. We're not interested at all in calories. I'm just going to do a comparison of total fat. Okay? So 10.5 grams of fat in our veggie burrito from Chipotle. Now, let's jump over to chronometer. And I've already filled this out for you. We are going to add walnuts to our chronometer page. We're going to have 8 ounces of walnuts. So 8 ounces of walnuts. Now, 8 ounces of walnuts, as you can see here, got 1,483 calories and 148 grams of fat.
Holy shit.
147.9. Let's just call that 148 grams of fat in only 8 ounces of walnuts. Now, sometimes, ounces, we don't necessarily read what exactly that looks like. So I shot a video a couple days ago of what exactly 8 ounces of walnuts looks like. Here it is. I'll show that for you now. And what we're going to do is we're going to pour some nuts in here. Oh, hold on. Can we just adjust that? Okay. So we'll pour some nuts in here. Okay. Oh, jeez. That's it. Almost there. Okay. I missed one. See that? That is nothing. Right? That is 8 ounces of nuts. 8 ounces of walnuts. It's not much. So as you can see, 8 ounces of walnuts, that's about as many as you can fit in the palm of your hand. It's nothing. It is nothing. And in this meager amount of nutrition, you are getting a whopping 148 grams of fat. Now, you take your average big bowl of salad, okay? Your average big bowl of salad. And you want to add nuts to your salad. And 8 ounces of nuts is a pretty reasonable amount of nuts that you'd want to make disappear and disperse evenly in your salad. So you do that. And now you eat this salad and the nuts add, a nice crunchy texture to each bite. And I understand that leafy green vegetables help in the digestion of fats, like walnuts or avocados and whatnot. Yes, so if you are eating these things, you generally want to combine them with leafy green vegetables because they help in the absorption. I get that. But what you cannot avoid is the sheer fact that you are putting into your system a whopping 148 grams of concentrated fat. It is very difficult for your body to deal with that amount of fat, whether from a natural source or natural suitable source like avocados or nuts or seeds, or whether from an unsuitable source like animal products and meats and dairies and whatnot. I mean, we're not even going to go there. Okay, those are the landmines that you could step on. So obviously nuts and seeds are a better source of fats if you're going to have them in the concentrated form. But even in that concentrated form, this is a lot to deal with. Okay, now here's where the fun starts. Let's go back to Chipotle and make some interesting comparisons. So as we saw before, we've got this 10.5 grams of total fat in one vegetable burrito, as we've constructed it here on Chipotle. Now, if we wanted to determine how many burritos it would take us to get to 148 grams of fat that we saw in that 8 ounces of nuts, how many of these burritos would we have to consume? Well, let's just round this down. Okay, we've got 10.5 in one burrito. Let's round it down to 10. Okay, an even number, which makes this an even more conservative figure. Okay, so what we do is we just divide 148 grams of fat, okay, by 10, and we get 14, which means that you would have to consume 14 burritos before you arrive at 148 grams of fat that you get from that many nuts. Seriously, think about that. 14 burritos, 14 vegetable burritos with guacamole, okay, included. I couldn't force you on your hungriest day to eat 14 burritos. You have any idea how much food that is? That is, I can't hold 14 burritos with a hug. Okay? And that's what it would require for you to get to 148 grams of fat. Think about that for a second. That's serious. 148 grams of fat, 14 burritos worth, right? To get to that same amount. It's compelling, right? It's something to seriously think about. Now, I've ignored the calories, as I said before, but just out of sheer curiosity, let's take a look back at the website. We've got 515 calories in one vegetable burrito. So if we take 515, and we know that we need to eat 14 of these burritos to get to the same amount of fat, we'll just multiply that by 14. Okay. And we get 7,210 calories. So, in order to get to 148 grams of fat from the nuts, you would have to consume 7,210 calories worth of burrito. Whereas with these nuts, as we saw, we've only eaten 1,483 calories, and we've already arrived at the whopping 148 grams of fat. Okay? That's insane. Now, you guys know me. I'm not big on number crunching. I don't recommend that you go out and devote too much energy to, counting macros or like that. That has no place in a natural diet. It's not necessary at all. It's a fun and interesting tool that you can use to get more information. Sure, why not, right? More information is always useful. But it's not something that you need to worry about if provided your diet is as natural and close to your biological harmony as possible. Okay, so high fruit diet with, the average supplement here and there, if desired. So, in giving you this comparison, what are we saying? Where do we fit nuts and seeds into our diet? To answer questions that very often come at me. The real question is, are nuts and seeds providing you with anything that you cannot get from a regular high fruit diet? The answer is no. There's no such thing as a zero fat diet, 0% diet. Fat and protein are in absolutely everything. So you cannot avoid getting fats and proteins. But their smaller concentrations in things like fruits and leafy green vegetables are exactly the small percentages and quantifications of fats and proteins that your body needs. The fruits and vegetables have everything in their proper proportions. You do not need to get your fats in the ultra concentrated form that they come in, as shown in walnuts and other types of nuts and seeds. You don't need them in that concentrated form. You only need them in their much, much, much lower quantities in other natural foods that you could eat. In the dense form, as in nuts and seeds, they are very, very difficult for your body to break down. Jeff Nelson has a wonderful video on this. Highly recommend you check it out. Here's a quick excerpt from the video if you're interested.
What do nuts do to our arteries? And as it turns out, nuts harm our arteries. And the only way you can see that is if you get your arteries really healthy by eating a low-fat, whole food, plant-based diet, and then using a medical test, testing your arteries after adding nuts. And the test has been done, and it shows that your arteries are injured eating nuts. Eating nuts decreases your arterial elasticity when your arteries are clean and healthy. So what is arterial elasticity? From Science Daily, it says arteries should be elastic. Healthy blood vessels are elastic, and elasticity helps to moderate blood pressure. Arterial stiffness increases with age and is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease and death. That's the test being used to test nuts. It's called the pulse wave velocity analysis. It's used widely in Europe, in Asia, and around the world. It's not used that much in the United States. So after taking Dr. Eston's advice and going low fat, Augusto did the pulse wave velocity tests and always got very impressive results. He says the doctors and technicians who do the test were blown away by his results. And here's one test he did 4 years ago when he was 38. It's in Japanese. You can see that his arteries were evaluated to be in the condition of someone 22 years old. So his arteries were 16 years younger than his chronological age at the time, which is fantastic. Now, Augusto decided at one point that he wanted to do an experiment with nuts. Like the rest of us, he was curious. Do nuts help your heart or do they hurt them? Because if nuts adversely affect your pulse wave velocity, then it would show that Dr. Eston is right, that nuts should be limited for people with heart disease. So here is Augusto's test. He was 39 at the time. He said he ate about 50 grams of all raw, no oil added, mixed nuts. They were raw almonds and walnuts and cashews in pretty much equal mix. He says that's about 2 ounces or maybe 300 calories. Then 3 hours after ingestion, he had the pulse wave velocity scan done, and this time he recorded the age of his arteries at 39 years old. Right here on the left in Japanese it says arterial age same as subject, and the subject age is shown up here. He was 39 years old. Remember that Augusto had been tested a short time before this when he wasn't eating nuts, and the artery age, his arterial age was 22. So in the hours after eating nuts, his arteries were no longer working like a 22-year-old. They had become less elastic and were now in the condition of someone 17 years older, like a typical 39-year-old. So the fat in the nuts made his arteries stiffer.
So you see, even though nuts and seeds can be eaten raw in their natural form, right? They're still so dense and so concentrated that they cause problems in the body. So you do not need to eat a single nut or seed in your entire life to be healthy. You can be perfectly, vibrantly healthy without any nuts and seeds in your diet whatsoever. So, should you be eating them? I can't answer that. That's up to you, right? But if you are interested in, it depends on what you want. Okay, if you want the highest form of health and vibrancy, then it's not necessary to add nuts and seeds to your diet. If you are interested in bulking, right? Like if you're interested in physical activity, you know, in terms of putting on weight for the sake of just appearances, yeah, maybe nuts and seeds might be something that that might be for you in your diet. But again, that's not my focus. Exercise and health and wellness, these are all part of a natural, healthy lifestyle, of course. My focus has always been primarily on internal health. And with that internal state of health, of course, comes fitness, right? A certain degree of physical fitness, unavoidably. Okay, and of course, exercising, you know, these all help with your fitness, right? But it's always, that's always taking a back seat to internal purity and internal cleanliness, okay? So when it comes to like bodybuilding and stuff like that, okay, that's out of my domain, because what's required of you to get to that type of physical and muscular stimulation often involves things that are not in alignment with absolute purity. Okay, so this is a battle that you have to, you know, wage yourself. This is a decision you have to make for yourself. But in terms of where I'm coming from, in terms of internal purity and health, no, nuts and seeds are not a necessity. Okay. Eat them at your own risk. If you are concerned with health and you do want to include nuts and seeds just for sheer taste and whatnot, just be cautious. The potential to overeat nuts and seeds in a single sitting is so easy, like easier than easy, you know, unbelievably easier. So you have to be super careful with nuts and seeds. Okay, anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for sitting through this with me. If you have not subscribed to the FreeMelon Society, make sure you do that, because you don't want to miss any of the important videos and lectures that I post up on this channel. You can help me out by giving this video a thumbs up, give it a like, share this with people who might need this information, who might benefit from this simple comparison that I've given here for you today. But other than that, you go enjoy your day. Hope you have a lovely one. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time here on the FreeMelon Society. Take care, guys.